do I get started? This is the thing, where to start. I could talk about my mental illness. Oh yeah, I didn't get round to saying, because I made a video before, I didn't get round to saying, I can't remember what it was. My mental illness. It's 4 a.m. Yeah, as I don't have anyone to talk to, I don't really, right now, I don't really like watching YouTube videos or watching TV or listening to music. I like to be in silence, you know, and that's not a problem, but I don't have anyone to talk to, you know, unless it's like Wednesday or Friday when I go do my voluntary work, and it just makes me want to do more voluntary work really hard, you know, but I can't like overdo it, you know. Ellie said that Ferry Meadows is swamped with volunteers, but I know different because I spoke to somebody. Personally. It doesn't make sense, does it? Because when you speak to someone, you are speaking to them personally, aren't you? I spoke to a volunteer, right, at Ferry Meadows, and he told me different. It's neneparktrust.org.uk. Yeah. So I don't get to talk to anyone for like, just strangers really. But I've been too anxious. My anxiety, yeah, was so bad that I became psychotic and I started getting messages off the TV in places, you know. And from that, I'd say that your stress levels, when your stress levels get too high, you become psychotic. And I guess my stress levels are up, and that's why I need the medication that I'm on. It's just all stress. The stress of being trans, you know, or the stress of just in a probably post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, it's funny because there's this bloke, right, at the coffee club where I go, and he was abused as a child, and I'm like, well, he's got mental illness, you know. So it's clearly, in some cases, what happens to us that makes us crazy, because I didn't have schizophrenia until I went to prison, and it was the way I was treated in prison that gave me schizophrenia. It was an attack I had in the magistrate's court. Gave me my first major psychotic break. You know, I was just like kind of schizophrenic before then. You know, I mean, I'd been to uni, some creepy weird things had happened there, you know. But when I came back, everything just went back to normal, you know. And that's all I'd had. Until I went to prison and they treated me like shit. Got attacked loads of times. And I got schizophrenia. You know. Still trying to work through the abuse that I had there. But there is one good thing that comes out of it. Not being attacked and like shit. I'm traumatised with PTSD, but when I was on the bus and I heard the fans go in, it sounds like a Hoover, it's really loud. It used to give me PTSD because there was like this blower in my cell. It used to blow out air. And it used to really trip me out, you know, it was really trippy. And I get that every time the blower went off and on the bus. Anyway, back to not speaking to anyone. Yeah, I've learned that it's just so uncomfortable. Oh my goodness. I've learned how important it is to have people to speak to, because, you know, support, people who are supportive, you know, people who ain't assholes, basically. I could word that differently to that, couldn't I? Just to say people who are supportive and loving, you know, and just dope-ass people, you know, because I can learn from them, you know, they can put my problems into, like, a different way of looking at it. Like, I said this in another video, but, like Ellie, when I told her I'd missed 2 weeks of my A-level, she said, well, you can pick that up at any time, you know, good example, but, I mean, these videos give me a chance to talk, you know. Some people, I mean, it's funny because I wouldn't say the people I talk to when I'm sort of out and about, you know, just strike up a conversation with people, which is really dope, you know. It is, though. I wouldn't say that they're narcissistic, I wouldn't. I wouldn't 100% say that they're there for me to listen to my story, you know, my pain, listen to my pain, you know. I mean, the best place, funnily enough, well, I don't know about that. The best place for conversation was actually the ward in the Cavell Centre. I had some really deep conversations there. And I don't know. What's hitting me now really hard is the awareness that my depression is like a lot better. A lot better. I'm recovering like every day, so you know, my confidence is starting to come back, which is really dope. I mean, it probably happened because I was really confident and I was talking to loads of people, and I don't know. I guess it was a big change for me. You know, could go Cambridge today. I got food. I haven't got any onions. Where can I go in Cambridge to get some onions? There's an Asda, but I'd have to like walk there. Yeah. Nah, that'd be miles. That'd be serious mileage. No, I can go Waitrose on the way back. Get some onions for din-dins. Oh. I don't know if it's true to say that it's a really healthy place. I mean, my heart, that's my mind. My heart tells me it is a very healthy place because there's just so many happy people there, you know. I mean, some of the postgrads or mature students are like really miserable, but that's just being an adult, isn't it? You know? I don't know. Well, when I say really miserable, I mean, I don't really think so. I think people in Peterborough are more miserable than people in Cambridge. That's what my heart tells me. You know, something in my mind is going off saying don't talk about Cambridge. But I'm talking with my heart. I'm talking with my heart. I mean, when I go there, I just feel that there's a lot more. It's 20,000. This is what I heard from Smurf, yeah. It's 20,000 students in Cambridge. Because you've got the Anglia Ruskin as well as, you know, the Cambridge College. You know, I can't fucking believe that. 2 universities. You know. Well, you know, Brighton's got 2 universities as well. It's got University of Sussex and the University of Brighton. 2 fucking universities. You know. So, I guess, well, you know, is it hard to believe? No, it's not really. So you got a lot of students, you know, you got a lot of young people, and I guess that's where the happy vibes come from, because I know this is facts, yeah, that when I was younger, right, up to about the age of 18, I was happy as fuck, you know, till I started doing drugs. I was happy all the time, apart from when I was pissed off, but like, being pissed off's part of life. you know, I mean, but I was happy all the time. Yeah, and all my friends were too. So I feel this is what my mind's saying now. This is why it's such a happy place, because they're just younger, and that's an age where people are a lot happier. I mean, when I went to uni in Reading, I remember when my mama left, she and my brother Nigel, yeah, they took me down there in his car with all my stuff. I moved into Sibley. It's the halls. It's like a tower block. It's the halls. I moved right to the top floor. Oh, it's a wonderful view out my window. It's a fucking huge window. You should have seen it. This lovely view. I mean, it was great. It was great. But when my mum left and she went home, it was like I got this crushing feeling of depression. Absolutely crushing. It really, really sticks with me, you know. It was the worst. I can't, there's something I can't say here because it's YouTube. I mean, it's really stupid. You should be able to say perfectly normal, acceptable things, but there's something I can't say that sort of brought on the depression. Real crushing depression. It just happened like that. Just all came on. I mean, she'd been gone for I don't know how long, and then just boom. Crushing depression. But this is my mind now, trying to like think. I mean, I was happy there, you know. It's doing chemistry sort of gave me a real lift. I mean, I do remember being depressed at first, because the first thing I did when I was settled in was I went to the student union, yeah, and I looked for like things to do with people, to like meet people, and like nothing appealed to me, you know. I didn't want to do any of it. But I was looking at the activities and not thinking, you know, this is people, just do anything, even if it's, you know, I think that's what it was. I think they were just activities, that, you know, they didn't care what the activities were. I mean, I don't, I guess I was in a really negative mind space. My sock is killing me, I'm going to have to take it off. I like shoe liners, they're really tight. I guess I was in a really negative mind space, but I was suffering from depression. You know, depression like, it is a kind of depression how it like inhibited my ability to like feel things and feel real, you know. So when I saw these activities, I was in a really negative space. You know, I was like, I went on this downer about like how I was on the downer before. I was in the mind space of a downer around like, oh, when I get there to the student union, there's no way I'm going to be able to meet anybody, you know. So obviously when I got there and I looked at the activities, you know, because I was in that space, and I suppose, right, this speaks to it speaks to positivity. It speaks to meditation and keeping toxic thoughts away. It speaks to positive affirmations, you know. It speaks to doing things that, for me, I'll talk about me personally. It speaks about me doing things that put me in a positive mind space, because let's go back to Reading. Because I was in such a negative mind space and I had no knowledge of those things that I just described, yeah, the positive things, and my depression. I mean, if I'd had some kind of spiritual practice, you know, I could have climbed out of that depression, no problem. But I'll go back to it. So, because I was in such a negative mind space, when I saw these activities, I thought, oh, I'm never going to meet anyone because I won't enjoy the activities. I mean, how... Oh, that is so negative. And it kind of proves, for me, I had a moment in my life where Stella Ray proved positivity works. She proved it with logic. And that was really, that was dope as fuck. I really felt that was dope as fuck. And I think this proves it as well. Because just the energy of around what I'm saying, you know. Because the reality that I couldn't see was that it doesn't matter what the activity is. I mean, I think you should have seen how many activities there were. There were freaking loads of different activities. I mean, you can imagine, I mean, like I can't remember how many students at Reading, it's either 5,000 or 10,000, I'm not sure. So I suppose there would be loads, and there was. And they were all different. It wasn't all the same thing. They were all different. And I think that's probably the way they do, you know. They before they decide what club they're going to have, they look on the list and see if it's already there. And if it's already there, then they try. Just think, you know, these are intelligent people. They just think of something different, you know. And there was so much choice, you know. And there I'm standing there, you know, looking at the wall, because it's all on the wall, and thinking, this is so bad, you know. And I ain't got to the point yet, which is that these activities are not for the activity itself. I mean, it's for people, you know. You just do the activity so you can mix with people and meet people. I mean, yeah, pretty much. I guess, I don't know if I want to go there, really. I mean, I don't... I think the internet is a really good thing. I mean, for two reasons, really. But the main reason is because you can find, like, meditation. And if you go on, like... If I go on some random meditation site, there is a likelihood that there's going to be, like, positivity, just good vibes, you know, uplifting vibes, or actual teaching of ways to stay positive, you know, and get out of depression. So I guess when the internet came along, I mean, I didn't used to use it for that. I remember when I got my first laptop, this was after uni, this was a year, not the year, not as in like a year after uni, but the year that I came out of uni, I got a laptop, and God, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, no, he didn't have a laptop at uni, whatever. No, the point, right, which I need to stick to is that the point. Yeah, I was on the internet, but I wanted so much to find spiritual things, and I found one spiritual thing, but I didn't know it was probably all out there, on YouTube. All the stuff that I watch now, it's probably all out there then. I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But even if it wasn't, it would have been good to have a look. But I mean, what what would I call it? Anyways, when did I only found... I'm just thinking about when I did find spiritual things. I mean, I've been on the internet now for ever since then. And after that laptop, I got another one. Yeah. And, so I've always been on the internet. Weird. But it's funny. I remember about 2.5 years ago thinking to myself how YouTube is really hard because I don't know what to type in to get the kind of content that I want. I don't know what to type in. But here I am, like 2.5 years later, and I've basically been feasting, as a Bible word, feasting, you feast on the Word of God. I've been feasting on positivity, like positive affirmations, like all the things I said before, positive affirmations, positivity, and all stuff, the awakening, which is really positive as well. It's about climbing out of depression, really, the awakening. Sort of an expanding of the awareness, because, like, when depression hits, the awareness sort of gets smaller, and I found that I couldn't feel anything and I couldn't really understand anything. I couldn't understand people, I couldn't feel any emotions, I was just dead inside, My awareness had, like, shrunk, but with the awakening, the awareness expands, so I guess it's only natural that to grow, and blossom, as Victor puts it, out of depression, Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I've been talking about my mental illness. I mean, it's frightening. It is frightening because I never had such serious symptoms before. Well, obviously, like, I've had, like, worse symptoms before. I've had, like, full-blown, like, schizophrenia. And I jumped out my window and broke my leg. But this is different. This is this worries me because it's like a different illness. I've like sprouted a different illness, you know. This is like anxiety. I've never had anxiety this bad before. Not proper, you know, actual anxiety. I mean, we can talk like schizophrenia gave me anxiety, yeah. I mean, when I was in mental hospital, that gave me anxiety, yeah. You know, real bad anxiety because they used to separate like the men and women, you know. You'd have a male ward and a female ward. I mean, they don't do that anymore, and that shows there's been real change, you know, in the world, in the free world anyway. In like, how many years? It's only been 7 years, and there's been real change, you know. But it was an all-male ward, and I was transitioning to being a woman, and there would have been a lot less pressure on me if there'd been like women and men there, you know, together. I think it just reduces the pressure on the ward. All these men, it's all fisticuffs, isn't it? It's all, not fisticuffs, I mean, there wasn't fighting, but there wasn't. I never saw one fight when I was there, to be honest. I truly didn't. I mean, well, I saw one fight. I got attacked once. And I attacked some people once, yeah, but I didn't see anyone else doing it. You know, and that actually brings up some emotions because I guess I might not apologise for what I did, you know. Yeah, that's really thrown me through a loop, actually. You know, it's totally unacceptable to have done anything bad, you know. It doesn't matter how much I've changed since. No, that's really negative. It's not, you know, people can have, like, done bad things and, like... Yeah, I mean, if I can... Oh, this bloke was telling me about all the stuff he done. I can't go into it, but it was, like, some really, sort of stuff you go in prison for, you know. And he had been to prison a lot. You know, and it was just conversation. He was just telling me all the bad things he'd done. You know. Anyways, I was on the ward, yeah. And, I don't even know why I put myself on the ward at, the Cavell Centre. Don't even know why I was going there. No, I can't remember. I've diverted what I'm saying too much from what the point that I had when I was going there. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I got my psychosis in prison, yeah. And it gives me a lot of... I think it's very positive that... and it's coincided precisely with when I started my meditation practice. You know, I thought staying present was meditation and I was wrong. That's not meditation. Well, it kind of is, but it's not. It wasn't the depth of meditation that I needed, you know. I needed to look at the words going through my head and spot the toxic ones and say, okay, that's very, fuck me, that's toxic, you know, and look at the positive ones and really draw positive energy from the positive thoughts, you know, really draw that energy in and use it to, like, lift my mood, you know. And that coincided precisely with, what did it coincide precisely with? Oh, something. Oh yeah, that's it. Healing from post-traumatic stress disorder a little, because like I was saying in the beginning of this video, like when the fans went off on the bus, you know, I don't no longer it doesn't trigger my PTSD, you know. Yeah. Oh, I'll just say it again that that coincided with me starting a proper, and these are depression then, meditation practice, you know, and it also coincided with me just letting out all my emotions. I mean, I took Teal Swan seriously. I mean, you'd have to read the completion process to know what I'm on about. She's a very deep person and it's quite complex, but I took her in and I, you know, into my mind, and I felt everything. I mean, she calls it an emotional dark age. So, you know, I felt all my emotions, and to be honest, they were all so negative, you know, but I thought, you know, I feel them. It's the Sedona method. I feel them. Go right into them, feel them fully, you know. So I did, and I was just feeling so much, and I guess that's for getting out. See, this is what I believed. I believed that in order to climb out of depression, I needed to feel, because the problem with depression is you don't. I'll talk about myself. The problem about depression is I don't feel nothing. I can't feel nothing, you know. You know when it's raining and it feels fucking lovely, yeah? It's like, oh, that feels fucking amazing. You know, I couldn't feel that, you know, for example. Like, I just couldn't feel things. So, when I went into my negative emotions, you know, not like words in my head telling me negative things, you know, a negative dialogue, of words. I mean, no, that's not what was happening. I mean, when I got a toxic thought, I saw it as being toxic and I just let it go, you know. But it was the emotions I felt, just emotions, such negative emotions, so strong, you know. And that coincided as well with me healing from post-traumatic stress disorder. So, like, maybe Teal's right. Maybe you need to feel everything, all the emotions. Problem is, though, it wound me up. It eventually wound me up. And I got so many threats that, well, they probably weren't, you know. It's just, it pushed me to learn really fast, learn so much in like a short space of time that eventually what people were bringing to me was more than I could handle, you know. And I started to get angry, like you do. You know, let's talk about triggers. You know, like when you get triggered, yeah. Me personally, I feel an animosity towards the person who triggered me. Even though, like, they're bringing to me something. I can think of an example. There was this woman on the bus, yeah. She was just talking about me for, like, a while, yeah. Probably about half an hour. You know, throwing out these comments, you know. And I thought that it I thought that it was really rude, because the context of my understanding was that it wasn't something that I could do. I felt like society or a politeness or some bullshit, yeah, that I'd been taught as I was growing up, meant that if if I couldn't talk when I was on the bus, like talk to myself, you know, or talk about other people, just talk, you know, I wasn't aware that I could talk, really. This was because this was before I'd ever like had a real meaningful conversation. It was. I never knew that talking was okay. So naturally, when she was talking, you know, about me, it like triggered me. I thought, you know, this is so rude. But I was just coming from a place of from a person who like didn't know about talking, how that talking is essential. You know, it's a human need to talk. You know, and she brought that to me. You know, and it was like the day after or the day after that. I mean, after that trigger happened, you know, it blew my brain up so much. I freaking lost it. You know, I felt like I was going to do something bad. You know, it wound me up that much. You know, but, you know, that just is what it is. That's, you know, I'll be vulnerable and I say that, you know, but like the next day or the day after that, I felt so much better. You know, I guess subconsciously I'd learned what she was trying to bring to me, but like consciously I didn't quite get it, but I felt so much better, and I started to make comments, you know, to people, to strangers, pretty much straight away. But then I stopped, and it was quite a while, quite a long time before I really learned I could just fucking talk to myself on the bus, you know. It's not really talking to myself because there's people around me, there's people listening, they listen when I speak, you know. I mean, you know, a person, you know, they listen to what's going on, they listen to everything. Or if they're talking to someone, they're listening to them. But if there's like people, short dialogue, you know, between this person and that person and that person and that person, you know, you're listening to it all, you know. So, you know, when I talk to myself, I get listened to, you know. And I haven't got enough time to explain this. I don't know. I'll give it a go. I've got 2 minutes. So there's animosity towards the trigger, but the trigger is just there to heal, you know. But because I was growing and learning so fast, because I was letting all my emotions out, you know, there was so much coming at me. Eventually, it just made me angry, you know. I was learning too fast. And I started to get triggered because people were just opening up around me, you know, completely opening up and being themselves. You know, as they should, absolutely as they should, you know, but I couldn't handle it. So I got angry. But yeah, I've got to stop this, so this will have to do. So goodbye.